Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective. And today will be no different. Today I'm gonna ask you a question. Are oils good for you? Okay, oils, are they good for you? The reason why I'm asking this question is because when you start to look at our diets, you'll see that they're ubiquitous. They're everywhere in our diets. Okay. And I think that's an important question because quite often when we're going out to the supermarket, we don't know where we're getting our oils from. We don't even think about it. We're always thinking about protein. We're always thinking about getting certain vitamins and minerals. We're always thinking about, hey, I need fruits, I need veggies. But we never think about how much oil we're getting and how much we actually need. And is there a difference between healthy fats and oils? Okay. And so we're going to break that down in this video today. And I think it's so important we approach this question because what happens is the language that is being used in nutrition is very confusing. And because it's so confusing, it leaves us not knowing what to do. And so what I want to do is give you some language and some new understanding about how to navigate oils and healthy fats. Because here's the thing. We need healthy fats. We need fats in our diet. They are actually essential. We have to have them. And here's why. 60% of our brain is fat, okay? So fatty acids are essential to not only, our brain's function, but also our brain health, okay? So we need healthy fats. We also need healthy fats because around circling every cell in our bodies is healthy fat in the cell membrane. Okay, so essentially without healthy fats, we won't have healthy cell membranes as well too. And I can go on and on. We have to have healthy fats, for our joints. We have to have healthy fats to actually repair damage in our arteries. And that's a whole nother conversation, but healthy fats are very essential. Okay, we gotta have healthy fats. And the unfortunate thing is today, we're confusing oils with healthy fats. And as a result, we're not getting enough healthy fats, which is why our bodies are so inflamed. We have so many reproductive issues and so many people are struggling in terms of metabolic issues. Okay, and we'll dive into that in just a second. But it's really important we know and understand there's a huge difference that I'll explain at the end. The difference between oils and healthy fats. And quite often what happens is we go to our nutritionists, we go to our doctors, and the information that they're giving us is to use these oils. And they are not what nature intended for us to have as healthy fats, okay? And I'll explain why oils are so much different than healthy fats. And healthy fats are the way that nature intended for us to get healthy fats in our bodies. So again, you using oils could lead to a lot of things. It could be leading to your rheumatoid arthritis. It could be leading to your reproductive issues. So this is why this conversation is so important. So let's jump into it. Oils are empty calories. Let me first start with that. And it's important I start with that because again, as I said before, oils are not the way nature, God, source, intended for us to get healthy fats in our body, which are essential. Again, our brains are 60% fat, okay? 60% fat. We have to have fat for our cell membranes. Every cell in our body, trillions of cells, and we have to have healthy fat for that, okay? But here's the thing about oils. Oils are empty calories. They have no nutrition in them, okay? So when you're consuming oils, all you're getting is fat. Okay. And when you look out in nature, you'll not find an oil tree or oil bush or oil anything by itself. Okay. So the oil is always extracted from something, pulled from something. And we're going to dive into how that process works in terms of refining and pulling the oil out of substances, which is making it so dangerous. Okay. Now, because oils are empty calories, it means that it is going to be devoid of all the complementary nutrients that would typically come from a whole food, okay? So when you get when you eat things that are whole food, an avocado, a seed, a nut, these things aren't just oil. They're packed with protein. They're packed with antioxidants, which are protective against the effects of oil. Okay? And so when you don't have those antioxidants, now you're eating an empty calorie. Now you're unprotected. Okay? The other thing that I think is really important as well, too, is that heat denatures oil. Okay? And there's a lot of other things that also denature oil. And when I say denature, I means that it changes its whole molecular structure and it becomes something that was once healthy to something that is now toxic. So whenever we add a lot of heat to oil, especially if it's a low temperature oil, okay, which most oils that people are using today are low temperature oils, then guess what? It's going to be denatured. It's going to go from being this healthy thing to now being this very toxic thing. Okay, so it's hugely important as well too. Also, oils are high in omega-6 fats. Now, you probably heard of omega-3s, which are actually anti-inflammatory, but these oils are actually loaded with omega-6s, which are pro-inflammatory, which means they cause inflammation. So the more of these oils you consume, the more you like sauteed, the more you like fried and crunchy, the more oils that you see and use in your foods or purchasing your food when you're buying food out at the supermarket or buying food at restaurants, the more oil you're using, the more inflammation you're adding to your body. And here's the thing, this is really important. Most restaurants are not using healthy oils. They're using not only unhealthy oils, they're using the worst oils like canola oil. Okay, most people are under the impression that canola oil is a healthy oil. Canola oil is a man-made oil. It is a synthetic oil. Okay, and it's really important people understand that. Actually, the name canola oil comes from Canada. They invented the oil, so that's why it's called canola. One part CAN, which is Canada, and ola is oil. So it's just Canada oil. Okay, it's a man-made oil. And most people don't know that. It causes a lot of inflammation in the body as well too. So it's loaded with omega-6s and also very inflammatory to the body. The other thing that is really important is that these oils disrupt the cellular membrane. Okay, now I'll tell you, because people have the perspective that we have trillions of cells. And so as a result of having trillions of cells, people are under the impression, well, a little bit of oil can't affect all the cells. Well, here's what's important. You don't need to affect all the cells, but if you disrupt one cell and cause a mutation that leads to one cell becoming cancerous, that one cell that becomes cancerous can create cancer in the body. Okay, so it's really important we know and understand that oils also disrupt the cellular membrane as well, which can eventually lead to the DNA being affected, damaged, and ultimately mutating. Okay, last thing is that oils are linked to obesity, heart disease, autoimmune conditions, Alzheimer's, dementia, and even cancer. Okay. So it's hugely important we know and understand that the conversation we're having is very important because we live in a society where most people who are giving you nutritional information, first of all, don't disclose this type of information. And second of all, don't even understand that oils are a part of the problem. Okay. And especially specific oils. Okay. Now let's talk about the dangers of specifically vegetable and seed oils, which is what you're mostly getting in the supermarket today, vegetable and seed oils. And this includes corn. It also includes cottonseed, sunflower, safflower, soy oils, grapeseed as well too. And I know grapeseed is a big one, especially in the alkaline community, because so many people use grapeseed oil. But it's important to know and understand that grapeseed oil and other seed and vegetable oils are included in this conversation that I'm having today. And the reason, what really makes them so dangerous is this. the refining process that they go through. Okay, the refining process that they go through when they add heat, when they're adding chemicals, when they're adding a lot of pressure to them. Okay, and adding that whole refinery process, unfortunately, is what is causing these oils to become so dangerous. Because ultimately, what happens is this increases the concentration of what are known as polyunsaturated fatty acids. Okay, it makes the concentration of those very high. And the other thing that is very unfortunate about this process of refining is, again, it strips these original vegetables and seeds of all of their antioxidants that are protective. Okay, so now you don't have the protection that came from eating the whole food anymore. So you don't have the antioxidants anymore. You also have to think, again, the heat, the pressure, the chemicals, even heavy metals and bleaching that they use during this refining process is also what makes these oils so much more dangerous than, again, eating the actual whole foods. And as a result, to give you an example, if you're familiar with varnish, okay, now varnish is something that they use to varnish wood, okay, all right, and I think what's important to know about varnish is that varnish is a vegetable oil. Okay, that's the first and foremost. Okay, so the same thing that you're using to varnish your hardwood floors is the same thing that often you're cooking with that you're buying from the grocery store. Now, varnish is good for your wood, but it's not good for your brain, and it's not also good for your arteries as well too. So hugely important we know and understand that, again, vegetable and seed oils can be very dangerous for all of those reasons. Again, and not only can damage your brain, your arteries, but also even your mitochondria. And your mitochondria is what creates energy. Okay, so if you start to feel a lot of fatigue, especially after eating a meal high in a lot of oils, a lot of fried food, which we eat far too much. As a matter of fact, we probably shouldn't be eating any fried food. But again, it's important to know that these type of oils, even when you go to healthy food restaurants, start to ask them, what kind of oil do you cook with? I used to go and say, hey, I'm allergic to canola oil and this oil. I wanted to know if you're cooking with those oils today, because that's the only way you could get an honest answer out of them. And I'm talking about healthy food restaurants. The vast majority of them that I asked, they had unhealthy oils, and they primarily use canola oil, which is by far one of the worst oils that you can use. So again, it's the refining process that they take these original plants through. Some of them are man-made, like the canola, but the refining process is what makes everything so dangerous. Again, they add heavy metals, chemicals, okay, bleaching, heat, pressure. This is what makes these oils so dangerous and ultimately ends up increasing these polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are also very dangerous to your heart health as well too. Okay, now I remember being in like Italy and going on like a tour or something, and as I'm on this tour, you can see this elderly lady literally making olive oil. Okay, and so initially when I saw this, I was thinking like, damn, well, this is olive oil but not taken through a refinery process. And when you taste the oil, it actually has taste to it. It doesn't taste like, you know, like this tasteless, rancid oil that we see here in the US. And so you'll see a lot of Italians, they'll just be taking bread and dipping it in olive oil and eating it. Because again, that oil still has the antioxidants in it. It still has a lot of the nutrients in it as well, which are protective. Okay, so that when you look at the Mediterranean diet and they're boasting about the health effects of oil, you got to also remember they don't refine their oils when they were doing these studies as well too. And that study also proved that they were healthy despite the olive oil, not because of the olive oil. So hugely important as well too. And then the last thing I want to mention about this whole refinery process when it comes to oils is it causes the release of aldehydes. And aldehydes are associated with inflammation and rheumatoid arthritis. They're also associated with dementia, heart disease, and even cancer. Okay? So hugely important to know and understand. You may think on the front of it, it says, it can even say olive oil. It can say, canola oil. It can say sunflower oil. It can say safflower oil, soy, grapeseed, no matter what it is. If it's been refined, okay, and if it's gone through that refining process, it has all of these issues potentially that could be affecting your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, your diabetes, and so many other metabolic issues. Okay, so let's get into why you should not be focusing on oils and why you should be focusing on healthy fats, aka whole foods that you get your healthy oils or healthy fats from. Okay, number one, healthy fats are going to be still attached to all the nutrients. They're going to have not only antioxidants, but all of the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, they're still going to be attached to it when you eat the whole food that actually has the oil. So instead of, focusing on olive oil, eat olives. Instead of focusing on avocado oil, then consume avocados, okay? They'll still be attached to all the nutrients, okay? And most important nutrient, fiber. Fiber is in that plant to actually blunt the effect of the oil. So instead of the oil, when you consume oil, it just spills out into the blood. But when you eat the plant that has all the nutrients, including the fiber is what slowly distributes the oil out into the blood. Okay, slowly distributes it out. Okay, so again, with the refining process, you remove the fiber, you remove all the nutrients. Okay, number two, healthy fats are actually going to be anti-inflammatory. Okay, so they're not going to be inflammatory, they're going to be anti-inflammatory. They're going to help lower the inflammation in your body. Okay, number three, and this is really important, healthy fats are essential to your hormonal and reproductive health. Okay, so you'll see that we're having a lot of hormone issues. Testosterone levels are at an all-time low. Women are having estrogen dominance issues as well too. All right, there's a lot of fertility issues on both sides with men and women as well too. And so it's important to know that your healthy fats are the backbone of your sex hormones. Okay, so without having healthy fats in your diet, you won't be able to make your sex hormones. So when I say sex hormones, I'm talking about progesterone and estrogen for women, okay, which is essential to their menstrual cycle. Okay, so if you don't have healthy fats in your diet, it could throw your cycle off because you're not able to manufacture the hormones like you need to. Okay, and it's also really important again for reproductive health as well too. And we're seeing so many fertility issues these days as well too. It's also essential, as I mentioned before, for brain function as well too. And then where you get these healthy fats from, you should be getting them for your nuts, seeds, avocados. Those are some of your best sources of healthy fat. Thanks for watching this video, but be sure to check the next video out that's right here. But everything I talk about is how do we take a holistic and natural approach to healing other than a man-made approach? And also, how do we prevent dis-ease in the body as well too? Because, they say